Hey, this is Diagnosed or No Tucked at about 8:37 p.m. I'll edit this how I may. I was diagnosed or no tucked on VidMe, and the kind of content I would make was generally what I used to do was the multi-niche, and that was basically me doing as much content in different categories as I was able to, or at least what I considered. But yeah, I was someone who made original content, diagnosed or no tucked, and I still go by that username tag to this day. I designed that tag as a kind of a Twitter style, which I now officially made for once a Twitter. Imagine that. And yeah, that was and the kind of content I would make in general would at least be about creative endeavors like screenwriting. I thought about claymation, and I still do try to get claymation done, or at least some kind of clay modeling. I do some writing, I do some storytelling, things of that nature, the creative stuff, and I do some drawing, even if it's not legit sketching it per se.
I took time interacting with much of the community of VidMe. Long before I even started my actual content creative ways, I actually commented for 7 months straight. But when I did make content, I was very proud of myself. I took the time to realize that even though I wasn't at the moment a verified creator, and I technically never was the entire time, I actually managed to be very skilled and even inventive with how the ways I make content and how I persevered as a creator and managed to get a few comments along the way. But nonetheless, I managed to create videos I liked a lot, experimented with different kinds of content, and was proud of the way that the user interface encouraged me in some ways that I never thought I could, and in some other ways, even the idea of me encouraged me to make more videos, and that it made me very proud of the moment of learning to be a content creator, knowing that VidMe actually had kickstarted a lot of content creation ways. I hardly content created on YouTube before I did VidMe, so VidMe was technically my very first time as a content creator, legitimately speaking. And one of the best ways I describe VidMe is that it's more like a camping experience. You just go in, make what you need, you get back out, and you take what you get from it, whether you liked it or not. And that's a very it's astounding, it's distinguishing, and very interesting way to see VidMe, in my opinion.
The deep docs, they their content based on deep philosophies, like the first abstract one, which had some original soundtrack from my behalf. It had some original piano music for me and had some abstract colors, different visuals from webcam inside of a glasses box. It had some different things in that point, and I really meant to go hard on those. I really enjoyed making deep documentary videos. They're the first one at least. It was something that I really enjoyed making. It was had good watch time. People commented really lovely comments about it, and even even right on sent a really long part that I responded with a long comment, and that was nice. Yeah, but yeah, and that's how I intend to make more deep talks. The second episode teaser was meant to be more of a uh, initiation to just get going, to just get to the point of noticing that I want to make more deep talks, and if I was really going to make that reality. It doesn't have to be the same title, indirect concept, direct approach, but there are other titles I haven't equipped for that moment. But yeah, a whole season of deep talks would be nice. A whole season of 3 to 12 episodes or more, and Jesus, what have you. If I had claymations with them, that'd be even better. But even without that, they're going to be pretty good if I commit to them. So to see in the future, you could expect more deep talk episodes. You could expect more. Gosh, I posted those at first. No, not like that, but you could expect more vlogs, more soft skills content, more science communication content, and more me faking my emotions because I don't have them properly until my nofap streak is high enough for me to really configure my lifestyle to the best of my ability. And me saying that is honest and authentic, but me faking my emotions isn't. So, but yeah, even covered as Forrest Gump, but like in Rain Man, when Ray exhibits different kinds of classical autism syndromatic behaviors. In one particular scene, like not the airport scene, not the toothpick scene, there's all sorts of them, but the one where he's about to go to the casino with the Tom Cruise character, and he's able to exploit in a good way exploit Ray's ability to know what is missing because when he looks at a swipe of of poker cards falling off the hood of a car, he asks Ray what's left behind on the rest of the deck that he didn't put out yet, and he identifies every single card in the proximity, and that's That's basically what this video is about. It's like how I know what's missing, how I'm or what that is at the very least what that's like. And I think it's like I didn't go into this video knowing any better about that, but I think it's a gift that I know what's missing because it helps me cope with everything else I do, in spite of my gratitude and positivity in the meantime and all the things I have that are blessings. But when you know what's missing, it's not so much that you have to have that closure, or even if you couldn't, but it's like knowing what's missing. I think this attaches to my cultivation strategies with life. I was inspired by from the Red Rover comic. Soul-based cultivation is like what I would call it at that point, but compared to even the other ideals. One of my thumbnails before was uh, codependent cultivation versus 100% independence and subjective experience. And that was for the life story in 4 minutes video. That's a good video, even the thumbnails. Even though for when the time has come for something to happen, you do actually have a way to know for sure that something's about to change, and even that doesn't have to be too precise. But it's like when things have changed around us that we didn't expect, we were like, oh well, of course that's gonna happen. I mean, not to only be pessimistic, but just sometimes we know when things about to change, but when you can feel the energy without knowing for sure where it is, that's a beautiful thing. And I also understand that the people who manifest the energies around them, whether they believe it or not, they're actually a frequency match for where they are and how they feel. Because if they weren't a frequency match, they would slowly pull away from those situations, both positive and negative, and attract the ones that do match their energies. Again, both positive and negative. You're gonna know for yourself that you actually have things that you could probably attract in your life sooner than you expect to. Don't be disappointed too much, even if it's farther away than you expect to either, because it's also that it may need more. I think it's coming to the idea that the universe doesn't have a time frame; it has more of a checklist. If you get certain things done in your own time, then the time could very well be irrelevant. It's about when you can come to those conclusions. Now, do not be disappointed by even that much, but just know that whatever level you're at, if even that's applicable, it doesn't have to be that way, I guess, but you know for sure when things are gonna come around in your life. And I know I sounded like I went in circles saying that, but I feel like that insight's gonna actually help somebody, and so here I am talking about that for now. There were some really awkward moments and even sad moments in my life in the last few days where I literally was like edging off, not PMO, but like not porn and sex, but like uh, edging off the idea that if I was going to just like, if I was someone who actually gave themselves every single day and even got suicidal, how much worse my life would be. Because I hate that I have a bit of an ego with this, but every time I look at my life, I'm like, dude, trying my best to be my best self unwaveringly makes me feel a little bit insecure, because I also sometimes I push this belief sometimes on purpose for some reason, but like I feel like trying my best to live my best life where I am right now. I'm not trying to. I should not use the pursuit of comparison, honestly, even if I see that in a different way in the world, but the envy or whatever. But I think I just every time it does seem like trying my best to live my best life where I objectively am a loser, whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean. I know I should not call myself that, but like it feels like every time I try my best to live my best life where I seem to be, not where I actually could be or have a better attitude for, it looks compared to someone who, and I'm not saying comparison, that's what I'm trying to say before. Compared to someone who is constantly depressed, not me, who's constantly depressed, suicidal, and doesn't know where they are in their life, and is constantly lost, and even Tolkien, J.R. Tolkien style lost, but still even more lost than that, as in like not all who are lost, all who wander are lost, but having someone like that being a little bit better than me is kind of a knee jerk reaction. It's like, dude, why is the doomer and the pessimist better than me? How are they better than me? I'm actually trying to make my life work. Like, I'm not invincible. I've had my dark moments, but actually no, I take that back. I never had a true dark moment. I never had a breaking point, and I never had. I'm not tooting my horn again. I'm just saying, like, I never had a true breaking point. Not even 2018 was a breaking point. Like 2018 was like if I was gonna go woo woo maybe, but I didn't even see that as being woo. I was really trying to problem solve my life, problem solve and critically think, not even self reflect. God dang it! Why do all my romantic exes get me like this? Supposedly, like I just said with the very first item, I would the claymation. I did already make a video about gratitude notes, which was a little awkward and suggestively edited to look like it was quality content, but it was really like just a quick go at in the middle of the afternoon of yesterday. But it was nice. It was like a quality content kind of attempt thingy, like where it was like, okay, maybe it wasn't exactly quality, but at least it was something. It was like, and there's more to the quality content trauma as well as the gym dilemma and the other stuff, but claymation trauma as well. So what I will do aside from claymation is obviously more variety content. I'm sorry if that gets in the way of other things, including actually growing on this channel, but it's like that's really what I would actually be going for right now. It's like the variety content gets to me a lot, especially if I go back to other stuff like I didn't mention it in this video or the last one really. It was hinted in the last video a little bit. The occult knowledge stuff. I'm going to actually go back to that over time, not just the meme posts from long back, but actual like occult like related content. It's going to actually be about the astrology and the spirituality stuff a little more, including like manifestation, which is not going to be too hardline occultism, but it's going to still be kind of stuff like along those lines. So there'll be occultism, claymation. There will be nofap vlogs, a little more, just to document my journey over time. Not too hard line into things like nofap zero intention. I keep saying hard line. Nofap zero intention. Not so much of those, but like at least like the vlogs themselves will be about other things, not just the PMO addiction thing. There actually will be a. So let me just write those down. I already mentioned claymation, but I'll do it again. I did say vlogging, so I'll put IE. And then the deep drops will come back. I think I just had a hard time making that work out because I wanted to be truly inspired and I dare say even motivated or disciplined or determined, what the fuck, actually to making those come out. But I didn't want to just rush myself. No, those things done. So that's the whole gambit of what I've been doing these last few months, especially since the earlier this year, was to not push myself into anything I didn't actually have to do yet, even if it was still impending to be a good thing, So, and what I mean by that is, if you really knew what you were talking or doing something about all the time, if you had an identity all the time, you would be limited by that identity, wouldn't you? You would only know it by what you were thinking or talking about or doing something about or even existing within or without. If it had to be recognized by a label, it would not have to be a thing. And that's one of my deeper philosophies is like literally like the things that I could not connect to, the things I failed to communicate because I didn't see communication the same way as other people, the things I failed to cause results in because I didn't believe in the results the same way as a lot of people did, and I didn't see a lot of things the same way. So it caused the disconnected things that even caused disconnect in itself, and it's kind of its own chaos. That's why they villainify consumerism, because they want you to understand that you don't have to be creating. Because I was going to mention Steven Spielberg earlier because that was going to be both for and against this argument because I'm a contrary philosopher, I guess. But the idea that my point was I believe in consumerism because I want to believe in a world where people can be themselves in spite of learning how to grow and evolve and do things for other people and not just themselves, in spite of that. But they have to learn how to be themselves first. They have to live in the moment and know what's going on in the present time, not before or after, but in the present timeline. Not waiting until they're 7 years old to be awake in the conscious sense, and then like in their mid to late 20s, like me, to be like, oh, so I really did do everything right, apparently. So, but it was like, but not being necessarily conscious in all those other years, even behind year 7, let alone year 25 to 26 and further. And it's like, yeah, that sounds really deep and philosophical on a claymation channel, doesn't it? As far as the claymations that were supposed to have storylines that were deep and philosophies that were deep in their ideas. For a stop motion animation channel, right? That's too deep, if even necessary. It's necessary sometimes, or even most of the time, or all the time, according to me apparently. But it's a claymation channel that's niched down on claymation, so why would I have to talk like this? But I have to still be myself regardless of whether I make content creation in any fashion that was supposed to be a certain kind of context or not, or concept or not. Damn, Warrior's gone in my head with this. With all the other shit, not just the Krinkasai stuff, but as many years other people have. But not that I never learned that lesson, but it's a different kind of thing. They're not the things that you want to overlook. You don't want to. That's just one solid example of soft skills and basics. You don't want to overlook the simple things. You don't want to be the kind of person who thinks that just because they have some form of dialect for how to live their life, they can still live and develop. I even told this one time to a guy who basically could tell I was insightful in 5 minutes. I told him that a long time ago, like 2017. Nah, that's not long ago, but 6 years is a long time for a lot of people. According to DJ Mackel, 8 years is a long time when he finished the Dendron Body of Dragon books. If you know that book series, you know that book series. Not just Harry Potter for less you folk. Harry Potter, Dendron, some other classic book series. Considered classics now in our day and age because we're 21st century. That still was within, but whatever, because we're still in 2020s. So, but basically, you want to be someone who is not like overlooking some of the really valuable treasures in what we know. Being able to pamper yourself and humble yourself either way. Being able to enjoy the process and the journey. And that could be different. That could be the same thing. But process in the moment, journey in the meantime. And then not to be about permanence or omniscience and not have to worry about either or those things. Not have to worry about change. I just finished listening to the audiobook on Kindle, Who Moved My Cheese. So I'm not happy on this again. But but we have to be humble. We be willing to both pamper ourselves and humble ourselves. We have to be able to know that we can take care of what we think is right and still change in the meantime. If we want to be able to catch up with the cheese, we have to be able to move our own cheese first. We have to be able to not worry about what was there or what wasn't belonging. We don't get what we deserve. We get what we attract. And I beat that to death until the cows come home and my face turns blue. You're gonna really want to not be someone who's only hard skilled. I'm just gonna say it. Like, I don't care how well you have it. I don't care what you don't need to know anymore. If you're not learning and expanding, you're not gonna grow the way that even you don't understand. Just to say, I haven't been on live stream lately, but yeah, I don't care. But just remember that I have been doing these test live streams lately, but I hadn't had much time to spring break to do it. So, and soon enough, I will have these streams ready. Where's the pause button? Oh, here it is. See, that was who I was 13 years ago, and that was not a complete lie, but it looked weird, and it also looked like it was like, oh, is that me really making a vlog that's that dead down to earth? Well, dead down to earth and freaking like real and authentic to truth. Like, but the video before that being my very first video on YouTube, being the clay pop showcase, and with just those two alone, you could archaeologically discover who I am as a person. You could psychoanalyze that and be like, oh my gosh, this guy not only knows how to produce quality content the first time he's on YouTube, but can actually be real with himself while he's still a kid, let alone as an adult. So it's not that I don't know how to be honest about that. When I say there's no home base, when I say that I know what I'm doing, it's by being lost whether I'm not lost. If I am on edge and I still know what I'm doing, I bet that's